Hello everyone. A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to technical session 4F. My name is Anisha, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastic LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 4th World Conference on Information Systems for Business Management, ISBM 2025, Bangkok, Thailand. The 4th edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Bangkok, Thailand, and the virtual event is being held through Zoom today and tomorrow, that is 25th and 26th of September 2025. I hope you all will enjoy the knowledgeable and interactive sessions throughout the day. In this session, we have 10 presentations, and each presenter will be given 10 minutes for the presentation and 2 minutes for question and answers. On 9 minutes, I'll be raising a gentle reminder. There's another request to all the participants to please stay connected with us till the closing of the session. And if you have any query or update, you can write it to me in the chat box. So before we start with the session, I'd like to introduce you all to the chair for this session, Dr. Shailesh Gahane. Dr. Shailesh Gahane is the head of Department of Computer Application at SB Jain Institute of Technology, Management and Research, Nagpur, India. With over 16 years of experience in information technology, he specializes in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics, and emerging technologies in science and technology. He has contributed significantly to academia through research, publications, and mentoring scholars in advanced technological domains. I welcome you to the session, sir. Would you like to give our opening remarks before we start?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So we shall begin with the session. And I'd like to invite the very first presenter, Shivakami VU, with the paper title, Assessing Strategic Alignment for Green Finance Adoption in Manufacturing MSMEs for Green Growth. Do we have Shivakami in the session? Or maybe any of the co-authors of the paper? Since there's no response, we'll be moving forward to the next presenter. Next one is Prem Chand with the paper titled ECG Geo Device, a low-cost multifunctional wearable for integrated real-time cardiac and mobility monitoring. Do we have Prem Chand or any of the co-authors present in the session? Since there's no response, we'll be moving forward to the next presenter. We have Sarak M with the paper titled ERP SCM Integration in the Digital Era, a bibliometric systematic review and framework for technical, organizational, and strategic alignment. Sarthak, you may please begin with your presentation.
Yeah. Good morning, madam. Good morning, sir. I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
So today my research is about the ERP SCM integration in the digital era. It's actually bibliometric review and development of a framework which assesses technological, organizational, and strategic alignment. So as an introduction, why ERP and supply chain management integration matters? Like as enterprise resource planning is the core feature which integrates technology as well. It ensures the movement of goods and information flow throughout the supply chain. So it actually increases an operational efficiency of a supply chain and as well as its resilience. So in this post-pandemic era where this digital transformation is actually key, every firm in the supply chain are trying to integrate this ERP platform throughout the supply chain. So firms invest heavily on the software. Like the our purpose is like uh, to map which are the fields, which are the country regions which are included, which are the categories which we should in types of categories which are included in the past researches in the post-pandemic era, and how it's practiced. So this is the research gap we have looked into. Like researches are happening. Some or only for ERP integration is focusing on only a single study or a narrow piece of field. And the one thing, and the second is like underexplored technologies, such as like even technology researches are happening in AI, blockchain, AR, VR, integration technologies, etc. But in case of ERP integration in supply chain, different digital technology coming into supply chain are several underexplored areas. And the third is that like how like instead of going into a pure technical integration, how we need to focus on like how the technology should be integrated, and as a future outcome how it should be looked into. So taking a technical organization as a strategic framework which is not yet still evaluated in the research, so we are trying to look into that perspective. And the fourth one is like there are few studies integrating initiatives direct to the like how resilience, flexibility, and sustainability are happening. So moving on, this is the methodology we try to do in the research. We followed a BSR, which means such a bibliometric systematic literature review approach in our research. We used the database as corpus. In this corpus, we tried to look into the aspects in the research as a post-pandemic research. So we looked from 2020 to 2025 at the time, like August 2025 time, like from the Scopus, and we have identified and screen recorded 99 researchers we have written. From that, uh, ba- um, we have taken the eligible article, only 20 eligible article, which we did an in-depth analysis of the bibliometric mapping. Like we have identified like the publication trends going, and which are the most influential countries regarding the ERP research, and what are the key aspects which contributed in this in the clusters and all. So in our analysis, this is the actual bibliometric results. In that, like as you can see in the annual scientific production graph, the graph is actually increasing from 2022 to 20, now looking at 2024 data, the graph is going in increasing trend. It shows us that there is a need and people are looking into as an emerging theme uh, when looking into the ERP integration research. And the top journals of the compute, which we in our analysis showed it, like Industry of IGP, Supply Chain Management Journal, and International Journal, etc. And the main, the highly is in terms of authors and institutions, the main groups came from India, China, and USS. They have a higher citation impact. Also, in our analysis, these are corresponding authors. As we can show, India is having a higher volume. Number followed by the US and the Morocco. And below that in the graph of the co-occurrence network, you can see this is actually the bibliometric map, which is actually divided into central themes as ERP, AI, things connecting to operational efficiency, sustainability aspects, as well as the digital transformation aspects. So, co-occurrence network shows us these key areas as the importance of this research. Uh, this is actually a thematic map, which is background study, in which we can see the motor theme, which actually the motor themes which are actually driving force of the field, which highlights the importance of which highly shows that the digital transformation, which is actually a word, digital transformation, AI, logistics, and etc. They have shown as a key theme. And the basic theme which is includes which there are fundamental topics like industry 4.0 and manufacturing and agile SEM, and some emerges as the niche themes which are represented as ERP's integration, which are showing as an underdeveloped area in case of resilience, and some declining themes or emerging things which are still lacking as the blockchain and supply chain barriers. So from this, like we looked into the in this thematic map and keyword analysis. We tried to integrate the aspects. What are the things which are in the crucial for this integration? So the first thing in our the framework we are trying to address is that the scope of integration. Every organization should look at the scope of integration, which like how much functions it should be needed, how much from the procurement into the final distribution, how much people are involved, partners are involved, how much function should be looked into. Then the technology enablers, like how much modules should be needed, how much of an integrated platform should be needed, etc. Then the operational outcome should be evaluated. So it actually improves efficiency. Like we have to look into like how it improves the efficiency, how much visible throughout the supply chain the ERP software gives us, and how much resilience it gives us regarding when there is a change in demand in the market, and how it should perform from a sustainable perspective. And then we should look into the success factors, which like how the data governance use the support from the leadership, organizational culture, and change management capabilities. So these are some of the barriers we should be in the ERP SCM integration, which was also detected in the study. It's actually like legacy of the system, the high cost, the skill shortages, and the siloed data and cyber security risk. These are the barriers which we could find from the past literature, from the existing literature that identifies key barriers in integration. So, when a firm look into an integration of ERP into their supply chain, this should be looked at a strategic organization as well as the technical integrated aspects which connects this five-dimensional framework, which is actually a outcome of our study. So the contribution of research, like even though there are, we are trying to give a cross-disciplinary synthesis, like understanding a technology, technical, organizational, strategic on the domains. Like we used Prisma with the like bibliometric SLR for making it easily replicable, and we offer a framework and real agenda. Like it should be how software should be implemented. And the practical aspects is like framework accepts this framework acts as a um, this framework acts as a the tool to diagnose how it should be implemented, and actually guides managers in align scope with the enablers and the success factors, and rather than chasing some integrated technology without looking into the strategic aspect. So, as to conclude, like ERP and supply chain management research is growing, but it's actually fragmented research. Several researchers are been happening, but it's either cased into a single seat. But if we look into the entire perspective, thinking at framework as an organizational, strategic, and technological framework, we can achieve greater goal. So this the next step of the research is like how this framework impacts into the several industries, like in the use case scenarios of these, and integration of like emerging technologies, IoT and AI, in the, which actually supports real-time decision making. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, sir. This is Dr. Shailesh Gani.
Yeah,
Am I
yes,
audible to you?
yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, there are some few questions. First of all, tell me about yourself. Means you are a research scholar or your student in somewhere?
Uh, I am Sharath. I am a research scholar. I'm pursuing my PhD from Amrita Vishwavidyabhidam in India.
Okay, okay, okay. So there are few questions as per your study is concerned. So for ERP integration, which software you have used over here?
No, sir, we are integrating ERP directly. We are looking into a frame how ERP should be implemented.
So where you are going to implement this ERP?
In a supply chain system, sir, that's how entire supply chain should be implemented. That aspect we are looking into this study.
Okay, and what do you mean by BSLR approach in methodology you have mentioned over here?
So BSLR means a bibliometric systematic literature review. In that
Okay.
approach, we identify the key themes, key areas, which are the key aspects which are included, which should be looked into
Mhm.
in the existing research, how things are happening in the post-pandemic era.
Okay, and in your PPT, I have seen some graphical representation over there.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So from where you have taken that particular graphical representation?
Those are the results of the bibliometric results, sir. This is actually the thematic map.
Go back. Yeah,
This
one. Corresponding
Yeah.
authors, country,
These are the
countries.
results of the bibliometric results.
So this particular research is collected by you, or you have copy and pasted over here?
No, we
From
have
where
done the
you
research, sir.
have taken?
We have done this bibliometric research by collecting the data of 99 researchers from the Scopus. From that,
Okay.
we drilled down to 20, and we use WOS Viewer, which is a software, to do
Uh-huh.
this bibliometric analysis.
Okay, great. And what this color indicates means red and green, blue is there.
It indicates the volume and the impact of the citations, sir. Like
Okay,
how
volume
much
and the
research
impact
is
of
impacting.
citations. Okay, great.
And below is the co-occurrence network, which indicates the key themes, which it shows supply chain management as the key theme, and it connects with the green supply chain management aspects, then manufacturing AI and operational efficiency aspects as well.
Yeah, and last question from my side. You have mentioned their 5-dimensional framework.
Yes, sir.
Go next.
Yeah.
Yes. On which parameters you have mentioned this 5 parameters like scope of integration technology? What are the key parameters over here?
So these 5 things, as you can see, the scope of integration, the technology enablers, operational outcome, success pattern, and the barriers. These are the key things which you identified from the systematic literature review and the bibliometric analysis result showed us. These are the things which we should be looked into in the ERP supply chain management integration.
So what are the technological barriers you have been faced over here?
The technological the barriers I can see, sir, some data are siloed data. As we as there is some supply chain people have use cases scenarios have already mentioned in the research as several data are siloed. So the communication from one player in the supply chain to another, it's not happening since the data are separated. So and the investment in technology as well, which is one of the challenges, and the skill of the people, which I actually mentioned in the previous researches as like there's skill shortage in effective implementation and working of the ERP software.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be moving on further to the next presenter, and we have Kunihiko Takamatsu with the paper titled Extended Lifelong Sustainable Inquiry-Based Community Learning for Human LLM Learning Based on Edu-Informatics. So you may please begin with your presentation. Yeah.
Yes, hello. Wait, please. Good morning. Hello, or good evening. My name is Kunihiko Takamatsu. I belong to Institute of Science Tokyo. Today, my title is Extended Lifelong Sustainable Inquiry-Based Community Learning LSICL for Human LLM Learning Based on Edu-Informatics. This work is collaborate with these members. This slide shows the recent key terms in higher education: ICT, evidence-based education, EBE, institutional research, IR, learning analytics, LA, and digital transformation, DX. I think many people know the field of bioinformatics. Eduinformatics is new interdisciplinary field. Eduinformatics is the word combination between education and informatics. This figure shows the concept of eduinformatics. The field of education provides problems to be solved to eduinformatics, and the field of informatics provides problem-solving method to eduinformatics. This slide shows the time innovation need to reach to 50 million users. For example, airplane is 64 years, and automobiles is 62 years, and telephone needs to 50 years. And recently, for example, the ChatGPT needs just 5 days to get their 50 million users very rapidly. This slide shows the Society 5.0. In the world, usually the people use the word Industry 5.0 instead of Society 5.0. Society 5.0 is concept of the future society. Japanese Cabinet Office defines Society 5.0 as follows. Now we live in Society 4.0, and in the future, the new Society 5.0 will become. In the era of Society 5.0, education is not the same as society from 1.0 to 4.0. For example, the OECD has proposed competency-based education, distinguishing between technical and core competencies. The OECD defines core competencies as delivery-related cluster, interpersonal cluster, and strategic cluster. Therefore, education in the 21st century includes both simple knowledge, the use of knowledge, and how to create new knowledge. This slide shows new paradigm in 21st century education. New education focuses on equipping students with the skills to tackle unprecedented problems rather than merely devouring existing knowledge. Departure from the traditional teacher-centered knowledge transfer model is necessary. As knowledge becomes more accessible, the teacher-student relationship shifts to a more collaborative and interactive dynamic. This slide shows the importance of LSICL in modern educational theory. The American educational theory shows the shift from hierarchical to collaborate teacher-student relationship. LSICL focuses on the community-based and collaborative learning. LSICL principles help address 21st century educational challenge effectively. This slide shows the features of LSICL. Lifelong learning. This learning style emphasizes the importance of continuous learning throughout one's life, regardless of age, constantly acquiring new knowledge and skill. Sustainability. The learning process is designed to be sustainable, focusing on long-term development and growth rather than short-term learning outcomes. Our research question is the following. Can the LSICL framework originally developed for human-to-human educational relationship be meaningfully extended to encompass human LLM and LLM-LLM interactions while maintaining its core principle of collaborating, inquiry-based learning. This slide shows one of the answers of our research question. This extended LSICL four-quadrant model represents our core contribution. Traditional SICL is designed for human-to-human collaborative learning, where educators and learners work together towards shared understanding. However, large language models like ChatGPT have disrupted this paradigm. Our framework extends LSICL to four distinct configurations. Quadrant 1 maintains traditional SICL human-to-human collaborative explanation. Quadrant 2 represents LLM teaching human or learning support, where LLM engage learners through Socratic dialogue rather than direct instruction. Quadrant 3 showed human teaching LLM through prompt engineering, such as context engineering. Humans learn while teaching LLMs, demonstrating bidirectional knowledge flow through interactive reflection process. Quadrant 4 explore LLM to LLM merge agent strategy, where AI agents collaborate through protocols like MCP, challenging traditional educational assumptions. Learning relationship has become multi-directional and fluid. The single session might transition across multiple quadrants, student teaching LLM, observing LLM human interactions, and listening LLM collaboration. This framework distributes cognitive load across human and artificial agent while maintaining LSICL's core principle for bidirectional learning, collaborative explanation, and sustainable knowledge creation across all four quadrants. This is conclusion. Our research confirms that LSICL principles apply across human LLM interactions. The four-quadrant model creates sustainable educational ecosystem through collaborative human-AI partnership. Future research will focus on empirical variations across educational contexts. Acknowledgement. I appreciate to JSP's Kakenhi grant, and I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the members of Three Hiko's project for their kind cooperation and support since 2022. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, hi, good morning. Good morning, Queen Nico.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear my
how are
voice?
you? Yeah, I can hear you.
Mhm.
Yeah, can you please tell me, in slide number 2 or 3, you have mentioned some statistical analysis.
Wait a minute, please.
Yeah.
How can I share
back.
go back. Can you see?
You have mentioned very good statistical analysis. Is slide number 2 or 3?
2 or 3?
5, 6.
This?
5,
4.
6. 6 and 7. Yeah. Good. Great. So
Mhm.
thread should pass on million user marks and lightning speed. So you have
Yeah.
taken this data from somewhere. Some of the websites you have mentioned over here.
Yeah. So please see that this slide.
Yeah. Yes. You have mentioned over here citations.
Okay.
What is your role in this particular concept?
Yeah. One more again.
Yeah. What is your role in this particular concept?
Yeah. So usually in the old age, so the teacher has many enough time to learn. So because when for example, this case, the airplane, for example, airplane, the teacher can get the enough time to learn, study or something about the airplane. So because the now, so the for example, the ChatGPT or something, so the after the release, so the student and the teacher just start to learn about these LLM. So in this case, the teacher cannot get the enough time to study some about LLM. So in this case, so the teacher have to change the thinking about the how to teach to student.
Yeah.
So yeah, I propose this new method.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Can you please tell me what are the 21st century educational challenges in LSICL, which you have mentioned over there? Can you please
Yeah,
tell me
so-
at least two challenges
Yeah, now I will.
which you have find it out over here?
Yeah, not yet. So this is a
Okay.
conceptual paper.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And can you please, last question from my side, inquiry-based learning principles. What are the inquiry-based learning principles? Because you have mentioned in your conclusion also.
Yeah. So in this case, the originally, so we propose a quadrant round. We propose LSICL between the human to human. But in this case, the how can I say extend the relationship between LLM and human. So because now many university have their problems about the deal with LLM against student. So in this case, this is a one answer. Of the so how to facilitate the I think the student they have to use the LLM to support or to their learning. I think.
Okay. Great. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice study.
Mhm.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
We'll be moving on to the next presenter, and we have Nafun Beg with the paper titled Preparing and Making Digital Video Lectures for E-Learning, a Case Study. You may please start with your presentation.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Professor Nakun Baek from Gyeongbuk National University, Korea. Today, I will present a paper titled Preparing and Making Digital Video Lectures for E-Learning as a case study. Actually, this paper is a case study for my experience and my college's experience for the preparing and making digital video lectures for public. Our motivation is that in global streaming, we were moving to the e-learning. In the case of plays, I mean that the theater, the actors played the open theater, and then we make some movies, and now we have some television sets, and also streaming services are available, including the Netflix and other OTT providers. Similarly, our lecture classes are moved from the private one to public one. I mean that in old days, we have the homeschooling, and then we make the public schooling systems. And now we can provide the lectures with the internet or the streaming services. So we expect that next paradigm for the learning is that e-learning, or based on the digital videos. then we must prepare some recorded video lectures. So if we concentrated on the recorded video lectures, then there are some strong points. For example, we can provide the personalized learning. It means that every student can choose his or her own courses or curriculums based his or her own experience. So it can be provide the personalized learning. And also, if we use the digital videos, we have no time or space restrictions, and the students can play with the adjustable speeds, and unlimited playback is possible. And in some cases, they select some small segment of the lecture and repeat it for his more deep understanding. And of course, the video lectures are low cost. And one more thing is that complex learning. It means that in regular semester courses, we must consider the physical conditions of the lecturer and also the students. I mean that if the lecturer for the normal lecturer, we have some restriction for his or her physical condition. So the learning experience should be spread on a long semester or at least some weeks. But the lecturer recorded the video lectures, then the student can play it in a compressed way. He can play every lectures in a few days. So it's a case of the compressed learning. Anyway, to prepare at video lectures, there are some small tips and experiences in our cases. First, we must prepare the course materials. And most of the video lecture providers, they say that the video clips should be designed with less than 7 minutes because the student can concentrate it on some topic less than 7 minutes. So the clips are split in 7 minutes. And then we must consider the copyright. So shown as the left side, for the image, we use usually the Google image search with Creative Commons license options. And then in that case, we found that everything is the Creative Commons licenses, and we are free for the copyright issues. And one more thing is about the font. We use the Google or Adobe, the free font, so it's also free of the copyright issues. The next one is that for the preparing slides, in our case, we usually use the Microsoft PowerPoint, and in that case, we should use the large letters, less than at least 16 points or 20 points. And we will usually prefer the simpler designs as possible. And for the text-only slides, the HCI, Human Computer Interface field, said that you must restrict the colors from the 4 to 6 colors are available only for the text-only slides. And if possible, we will use the storytelling method. It means that on the slides, we only show the keywords, and then the short explanations if we need. And then we say the full story on the fly. Then it makes the students must be concentrated on the slides, and is a kind of the better way to provide something or some lectures. Okay. And for video recording, we must consider the audio conditions and also the video recording conditions. Actually, for the audio recording, the lecturer must speak clearly. And then one more thing is that consider his or her physical condition. That is a strong point of video recording. If the lecturer get a cold or fever, then he can postpone the lecture to the next day, and he can record his video lectures in his best condition and in the best speed. Okay. And in the case of the video recording, we must consider the lighting conditions. So the special kind of lights shown on the right side or right figure can be used for the video recording. And after recording, we must edit the full video. And in our case, we use some video editing tools and also audio editing tools. For the video editing tools, there are several kinds of the free tools, and we just use the AVI Demox as shown on the right side. And nowadays, we also have some AI, artificial intelligence based video editing tools. In that case, the video editor can split every slice into a segment, and then we can control it in the segment unit rather than the analog way. So it's the non-linear editing is possible. And in the case of audio, we think that Udacity is the one of the best audio editing tools, and we also use some audio filters provided by Udacity. For the audio filters, we can also use the FFmpeg, the famous the video all MPEG tool. In that case, for the FFmpeg provides a set of useful audio filters, and we usually use those audio filters to enhance our recording. Conclusively, in this presentation, we checked overall and details of many aspects for video lecture recording. And actually, our final goal is that successfully record or successfully provide the video content to the public. And for this purpose, we usually update video clips whenever necessary. Actually, the video recording or the e-learning is the next step. So we will continue our innovation for the video lectures and as a video content provider. Okay, that's it. Thanks for your participation, and any questions?
Yeah, am I audible? Nakalun, Beg,
No, it's
am I
me.
audible? Yeah, good morning.
Morning. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some few questions for digital video lectures for e-learning. You have taken very good study. So can you please tell me what is your contribution over here?
Well, I think it is a case study. That's it. It's
Okay.
simply the summarizing some experience.
Okay.
Mm.
Through this experience, what is your basic conclusion?
Actually, it needs some the trial and error method. I think that you need some time and also some experience to make a good video. For example, actually the audio problem is somewhat time consuming, and you need some trials and error method to get it. Yeah.
No, actually
that's
in India, I'm also taking the video lectures, and
Mhm.
in the backend team, there are so much efforts to be needed, like for audio quality or for video quality. Okay,
Mhm.
that I understood from your case study. But I
Okay.
wanted to know what will be your concluding remarks through this paper.
Well,
What message you have to you're going to pass? Yeah, yeah.
well,
Actually.
I mean that actually in Korea, we
Uh-huh.
still met some difficulties to make the video lectures widely used because
Okay.
the educator, I mean that the lecturers and actually the education major, the professors wants to make a face-to-face lecture rather than the video lectures. So it's a kind of resistance to make the widespread of the video lectures. But the trend is changing. Actually, the student wants to use the video lectures more than the face-to-face lectures. So we need to make some preparation to move these new trends. Okay, that's my conclusion. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be moving on to the next presenter, and we have Ikram Ahmed Mohammed with the paper titled Re-KYC for FinTech Security, a privacy-preserving approach to digital wallet verification. Do we have Ikram in the session?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you may please start with your presentation.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, so basically I'll be talking about a paper which is on RE-KYC for FinTech security. So this is co-authored along with my colleagues mentioned here. So I'll be giving a brief introduction and what are my objectives and what are the techniques that I discussed and a comparator analysis and a case study. And this is the agenda for today. So on the introduction, I'll talk about what is KYC. So we all know that it's KYC for know your customer. It's mandatory in all the financial technologies like insurance companies, banking firms. We might have been asked so many times to provide a KYC. So it's basically to verify users' identity. And what is RE-KYC, re-verification KYC? We need to ensure that the identity is always being verified repeatedly to know whether the user is valid. And currently, what are the trends that are being used in financial technology is like the KYC is having a centralized storage, which has some risks due to data breaches and unauthorized access. And we need to have some privacy preserving approaches. So in this paper, we'll be discussing about what are the new technologies that are available and which we can leverage. And that will be like ZKB, HEFLDID. I'll talk about it a little further. And what are the trade-offs that are currently due to which we are not able to have a security, privacy, and scalability compliance things, which we can overcome using the new technologies. And in this paper, we propose a modular framework, how we can use RE-KYC to resolve these issues, and also considering the regulatory alignment and laws. So in this paper, we are talking about new techniques which can be used for RE-KYC. So basically, anonymization and pseudo-anonymization. Basically, it's a technique where we can hide or replace personal information to prevent direct identification. And zero-knowledge proofs allows users to prove their identity without revealing any actual data. For example, a person to know whether a person is 18 years or above, we can identify without giving the birth date. And homomorphic encryption is a technique where competitions can be enabled on certain information, and this information can never be exposed. Sorry, excuse me. And decentralized identity. Basically, using blockchain, we can give user controls to have the control over the identity. Like we can use SSI, like self-sovereign identity as well, along with blockchain. And federated learning is something where AI models are trained on user devices rather than on a central service to keep the raw data private. These are all the new techniques that are available to implement RE-KYC. So basically, what's the difference between the traditional one and the new the one that we are proposing is in traditional RE KYC, we have a centralized storage, which are prone to be data breaches, and it's more of manual intervention where manual verification is there due to results in delays and poor privacy. And also in terms of performance, there is delays because it's manually again, and there are always laws being changing, evolving, so we need to struggle with evolving privacy laws and those kind of things. So these things can be overcome by using privacy preserving REKYC, using the latest technologies like Z encryption, ZKB, blockchain for security, DID, and whatever that you have spoke about. So we have done some case studies on things where they have used these technologies. For example, European Bank uses blockchain with self-sovereign identity for REKYC, and they have resulted in efficient cost reduction and also in terms of scalability as well. And Singapore FinTech, they use ZKB, zero knowledge proof, for counter to check to validate again data against their customers for checking counter-terrorism funding and anti-money laundering. And in the Indian digital payment platform, they use federated learning for biometric REKYC. So proposed frameworks we have in the proposed framework as per the paper, we have these modules which can be leveraged to achieve all these things, and we gain all the advantage here. So this is the proposed project where we have identification verification module where we use all these techniques that I have discussed earlier. And in addition to that, we have decentralized identity management like DID and those kind of things. So challenges and for the future trends. So regulatory fragmentation and interoperability. Basically, the regulations keeps on changing. Various laws comes into picture at any point of time. So we need to make sure that these all techniques are complied to these changing regulations. And also we need to overcome the performance of these new techniques. And also with the new technologies, the computing speed has been increased drastically than what it was earlier. So we need to make sure that even the new techniques are adaptable to the post-quantum cryptographic readiness and also automated, sorry. Once again, sorry. And we should have something in place, techniques in place to have automated compliance audience and AI-driven fraud detection under privacy constraints. So basically, the conclusion is to use these techniques to have an efficient REKYC and use the proposed model of framework that we have proposed to having different identity management and other techniques, which can reduce data breaches, enhance user trust, and which can be future ready for scalability, regulation, and AI integration. Yeah, and these were all the references from me. I think I'm fine with my presentation, sir.
Yeah, very good presentation, Ikram sir. So can you please tell me, are you going to do PhD or you have just mentioned your thought process through this process, through this paper?
This is just a thought process, but
Okay.
maybe going down the line, we can do some research as well. So yeah.
Okay. So related to privacy preservation or enhancing techniques, what are the softwares available for that?
Sorry, for which one?
You have mentioned the privacy enhancing techniques in this particular research paper. So do you find it out any softwares related to privacy preserving techniques?
Yeah, there are a few. We have not looked into the details. There are some tensor federated technology, PySIF, some frameworks on Python and those kind of things, which we can leverage.
Okay. Because you have mentioned over here ZKP, HE, and DID, different techniques you have mentioned in your presentation. So how you are going to overcome the different problems related to privacy preserving?
So that is the next thing like that we need to implement and see, and we need to leverage and see various technologies, and also to see how long of the computation based on the GPT and GPUs that we need that. So based on those kind of things, we need to leverage. So it's See, this is the case study that we have all these technologies, but implementing, and we need to further down the line, we need to have more case studies to see like how efficient can be and what will be the better approach to implement these things.
And you have mentioned very good comparative analysis, as I have seen, between traditional and privacy preserving re-KYC.
Yeah.
RE-KYC. So that is really amazing. So
Okay,
you have
thank you.
mentioned actually 3 to 4 authors in your research paper. So what do you mean by what is your contribution?
So my conclusion is basically there is more scope of improvement. So it's just a very beginning at the very beginning stage with all the AI in place. So everyone talks about AI. So it's not that mature enough. But yeah, it's down the line, that is the future for sure. So we need to focus on those things and try to implement right now. And the data is the key for everything. If you don't have the right data, then no AI model is going to perform very well. So you need to make sure that your current systems and everything are perfectly tailored for the data, tailored and cleaned, has a tailored and clean data for AI to work its full efficiency.
Okay, last question from my side. I have seen the first slide where you have mentioned the author names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working in somewhere, or you're means where this study will be useful? Your PhD scholar, or you're working somewhere?
So I'm basically I'm the integration engineer at Salesforce in US.
Yes.
So I work for a CRM company. So basically we work with different clients, ranging from healthcare to fintech and everyone. So I have worked in financial insurance companies as well. So we have some systems which are a little outdated to check on counter-terrorism and fraudulent activities. So I would say we can leverage AI models there to see, like, to detect those kind of things at the earlier stages of that.
And in author name, you have mentioned some Indian names also from MIT School of Computing and Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, Pankaj,
Yes.
Chandra, and Parikshit. What is the contribution of these peoples? Because you are sitting in the USA.
So basically what we do, we collaborate during our weekends. So we collaborate during the weekends. We met in some of them are met in the common conferences that we have held. So I'm a active IEEE member, senior member, and
Okay.
I'm a vice chair of the India section in US. So that's how I have a more of networking.
Yeah.
So we meet at the conferences, and that's how we collaborate here. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. Nice to meet
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. We'll be moving on to the next presenter. We have Ujjwala Shirsagar with the paper titled Reviving Indian Knowledge Systems, Implementation, Execution, and Impact on Modern Education. Ma'am Ujjwala, you may please begin with your presentation.
Hello, ma'am. My presentation is at 12 p.m.
No, that is the Bangkok time. As per according to the Indian time, the session was scheduled at 9:30 to 11:30. So yours is right now.
Okay. Just give me 2 minutes just to open my presentation.
Okay.
Hello, is my presentation is visible?
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Ujjwala Shirsagar from Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Pune. Today's I am delivering my presentation with my co-author, Dr. Asmita Dani, Director of Academics from Symbiosis International University. The topic of my presentation paper is a reviving Indian knowledge system, implementation, execution, and impact on modern education. As we all are knowing that in India, institute and the universities approved by the UGC or AICTE provided the UG and the PG education to the large number of students. These institutes are the foundation of higher education in India, and that's why it is very important for this institution to include the Indian knowledge system related topics to the curriculum. and fully follow and implement National Education Policy, the 2020, which had taken the initiative to incorporate the Indian knowledge system in the curriculum of all the higher education systems. To make this happen, the research and the development on the Indian knowledge system must be one of the key responsibility of the higher education institutions. Indian knowledge system must play an important role in the curriculum for the higher education at university as well as at the college level. The Indian knowledge system encompasses organized field of knowledge developed in the India since ancient time, producing brilliant minds like Aryabhatta, Charaka, then Chanakya, like that. So many are there. NEP 2020 emphasizes integrating this rich heritage into a modern curriculum. Now, if we consider the future vision for the Indian knowledge system, it is actually built for the global integration, which provide a digital platform which consists AI-based tools and virtual learning expand a global IKS access. Worldwide adoption, growing the global acceptance of Ayurveda, yoga, and the traditional practices, and also provide a sustainable solutions on traditional wisdom addresses humanities of future challenges. By balancing the tradition and the innovation, India can position IKS as a fundamental to a transformative education, enabling students to lead the knowledge, morals, and the cultural foundation in an interconnected world. If we consider the measuring impact, how it will be get impacted, so we can measure the success and the impacts with the various evaluation methods. Once we will incorporate as a core subject, that is a mandatory courses for 2 credits or the 1 credits in the curriculum, we can build a various evaluation method like a reflective assignments, student-led cultural project, interdisciplinary assessment, emotional intelligence matrix. Such kind of the evaluation method will provide a 360-degree holistic development, enhance the comprehensive growth, 100% cultural diversity, promoting the inclusivity, and 85% of ethical understanding, improve a social responsibility. IKS integration promotes the enhanced focus, emotional resilience, cognitive growth, and deeper understanding of social, environmental, and ethical dimensions. Now, if we consider the leading institution in the India, which providing IKS in their curriculum, and those are nothing but the IIT Kharagpur is one of them, a center of excellence for IKS supporting research and the curriculum development. Banaras Hindu University provide a formal degrees in the Ayurveda, Sanskrit, and the Vedic philosophy. Savitribai Phule Pune University providing a certificate courses in yoga, astrology, and the traditional logic. Chinmaya Vishwa Vidyapeeth provider specializes in the Sanskrit studies and the performing art. Along with that, our institute, Symbiosis International University, made a compulsory involvement of IKS from the 25-29 batches in all the disciplines. And through that, we had different diverse subject based on the Indian knowledge system. Here, for the SIU Pune University, if we consider as a case study, the Symbiosis International University is having a 41 constituent institute, including the institute at Dubai, which offers a 69 IKS courses across the diverse categories, which consisting of yoga and the meditation, which includes the basics of yoga therapy, then yoga practicum, then yoga therapy principle and practices, yoga for health and wellness. Also having a Indian history and the cultural based courses, which consisting of South Asian history and culture, roots of India, Indian art and culture, Indian philosophy. For the performing arts, we are having Natya Shastra, then Carnatic music, introduction to Hindustani classical and music. Along with that, for the legal studies and the culinary art, we are having subjects like courses like Indian and European Culinary Foundation, then regional Indian cuisine, uh, like that. So all these are the different courses we are providing in our curriculum. And for this curriculum, there are near about 2,134 students in 23-24 academic year enrolled for the IKS courses, and out of which 157 were the PG student. And we have offered a total 69 courses based on the different traditional discipline related to the Indian knowledge system. Now, the main objective of the Indian knowledge system in the modern education is nothing but the heritage preservation, preserved India's intellectual heritage and the cultural identity through the ancient texts and practices, holistic development, integrate a mind, body, and spirit development beyond just skill building, indigenous innovation, which includes the learn innovative solutions for the modern healthcare, environment, and sustainability challenges. Also, the another objective is nothing but the value-based ethics, which cultivate a dharma and the seva principle for socially responsible individual. And the most important objective is nothing but a multidisciplinary learning, which provide a blend arts, science, technology, and philosophy for global relevance. If we consider the historical foundations of our Indian knowledge system, it was a Vedic period from 1500 to 50 BCE, where the Gurukul system with the oral transmission covering mathematics, astronomy, grammar, logic, and ethics alongside scriptures being taken. In the era of Upanishadic, philosophical traditions emphasizing truth, knowledge, and self-realization through questioning and debate. Then the great universities in the era of 500 BC to 1200 CE, Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila attracted the international scholar, offering a multidisciplinary education. And still the Nalanda in the India also having the value-based education on the Indian knowledge system, which is the base of the university. Along with that, the medieval synthesis, integration of the indigenous system with the Persian, Arabic, and the knowledge tradition. If we see the scientific contribution of the IKS, this contribution is in the Ayurveda and the yoga, the foundation for wellness and preventive healthcare are now part of global health practices. Vastu Shastra, ancient architecture, offers insight into sustainable design and environmental harmony, and metallurgy, advanced technological knowledge like the rust resistance iron pillar for Delhi reflects the ancient innovation. This IKS bridging the tradition with the modernity. It balances the culture of India. IKS connect the students to a heritage while applying the traditional concepts in contemporary context, like ancient mathematics in modern computer science. Holistic learning, ancient texts emphasize a self-discipline, empathy, and critical thinking, and nurturing the mind, body, and the spirit together. A global relevance, a yoga, Ayurveda, and the Indian mathematical concept show how indigenous systems solve universal problem worldwide.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is a gentle reminder for the 10 minutes time.
Yeah, this is the last slide. But still, there is the crisis for the cultural identity. The current global trends have created an interconnected world where society faces the conflicts, loneliness, and the self-centeredness. Our Indian society is losing its tradition and the culture, but the NEP 2020 suggests a value-based education to address the social, economic, and psychological issues affecting the human behavior through comprehensive understanding of a culture. At the last, I should say the IKS promotes the cultural diversity, inclusivity, and fosters deeper understanding of social, environment, and ethical dimensions, enhancing 360-degree holistic development and the value-based education. These are all the references for my paper. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good study and you have mentioned very deep in manner. So this
Thank
study
you,
is
sir.
while applying these many of courses to our
Yeah.
university, it's a big challenge.
Right, sir.
Yeah. So I can understand, ma'am. So
Yeah.
there are no questions from my side. Just for experience purpose, I am asking you one question.
Yeah.
What are the challenges, ma'am, you have faced during implementation of these IKS courses in your university
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
in different courses?
Yeah, because we are having a different disciplines like a medical, engineering, law,
Yes.
then business, everything. Initially, it was a big hurdle from all the deans why we are implementing. Other institutes have not taken the initiative.
Yes, ma'am.
But being as an international university, we are having lots many international students from the currently we are having 29 students from the 29 foreign countries. So therefore, it will be helpful for them to train about the Indian culture so that they will be get familiar with the international university also. And if we consider the current crises outside the region of our India and everywhere, the value-based education is most important and it should be there in all the universities so that student will get such kind of the things related to the culture, discipline, value-based education. So it's most important, and that's why that initiative had been taken. And most probably because of the NEP 2020, it becomes easy to implement because it's a initiative from the government of India to have the Indian knowledge system courses in our curriculum.
And ma'am, you have mentioned only 157 PG students are there in your slide.
Yeah.
So what are the different streams are there for 157 students?
Sir, 150 students means what? These are from the different discipline which adopted because initially in 2022 we have not make it compulsory to adopt these courses. So that time the PG student also adopted the courses.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. We will be moving on to the next presenter. We have Vikas Shah with the paper titled Scenario-Based Crowdfunding Framework to Accelerate Corporate Social Responsibility and Empower Employees in Society 5.0. So Vikas, you may please begin with your presentation.
Good morning, colleagues and respected chair. This is Dr. Vikas Shah, and I'm presenting the scenario-based crowdfunding framework to accelerate corporate social responsibility and empower employees in Society 5.0. This research work is performed in collaboration with Arav and Arusha as a co-author. The primary theme behind this research and motivation is that the crowdfunding has revolutionized how the projects are funded. However, now organizations are facing new challenges. How do they accommodate the CSR, corporate social responsibility goals, and empower employees? And the other thing is that there are many existing approaches which lacks the structured way of measuring the social impact. I would go through the introduction of the problem and the contribution, evolving characteristics of crowdfunding in Society 5.0, and the new paradigms that has been introduced, our approach, and we have proposed and developed this scenario-based crowdfunding framework. On top of that, we have the governance framework, which is phased approach for the crowdfunding scenarios, how we do the categorization of the scenarios. Then we have presented the empirical case studies, considering the crowdfunding for AI initiatives in the United States. And then we have created the evaluation criteria. And finally, the conclusion and the future research work. So crowdfunding in Society 5.0. Now crowdfunding is already in mainstream. The major focus is the financing. But now the new paradigms of culture, sustainability, and social innovation under a human-centric and data-driven visions are being introduced. The problem with that is it lacks standardized metrics, scenario planning, governance, and leading to inconsistent outcomes. Right? And our contribution is to structure them, right? How we consistently evolve, presenting this scenario-based crowdfunding framework, which defines the scenario categories, streamline it, and evaluate it. The impact is huge because since 2022, it is 18 billion and it is going to be doubled by 2030, the crowdfunding initiatives. Latin America already achieved more than 80% overfunding. Middle Eastern, more than 40% overfunding for the crowdfunding initiatives. Right? The major advantage is it moves beyond the fundraising to build trust, empower employees, and it becomes a change agent. Finally, it aligns the crowdfunding with sustainable and societal goals in Society 5.0. The primarily Society 5.0 paradigms are equalization, which focuses on ecological balances and circular economic intellectualizations, which is more of a evolving characteristics of complex societal problems and data-driven decisions and technology advancement. The third one is the inclusivity, including some of the digital and non-digital channels that are coming up, and hybrid participation. The fourth one is the distributed intelligence, which also has the centralized autonomous organizations and P2P governance. And finally, the human centricity, which includes the trust, dignity, well-being, and the personalized and privacy over technology. Okay. Major challenges that the current crowdfunding initiative facing in the presence of the Society 5.0 paradigms. These paradigms is the alignment between the culture and CSR mechanism, right? Narrative framing, which there are some evidence that the climate threat is increased over the years, and people are recognizing it but not acting upon it. Employee participations are reducing day by day, right? Encouragement and the engagement paradigms are not clear or even not defined in organizations. The next one is the access and digital inequality, right? So, more than 30% of the world population still are not accustomed to use the digital channels or even the new channels coming up, even the social media. Okay. Then the institutional legitimacy and trust. So publicly funded institutes fear the reputational risk. One of the examples that we found is the museums abstaining, right? financial only pitches that lacks the kind of contribution to the society and the overall the participations into the trust within the community. Okay. Finally, the regulatory fragmentations, right? So the because the goal is purely financials into the a lot of the campaigns, the regulatory they either mold or they either divert from the regulated aspect of the financial services industry, which is much matured than 10 years ago. So how do we address this challenge, right? There is no kind of structured way to do it. So what we have developed is the framework and the 6 layers of the framework which connects the different founders and the crowdfunding initiators, even the internal employees to the consumers, like local communities, like institutions, and even the venture capitalists, right? Government agencies. And this framework includes the crowdfunding contextualizations, scenario identification and classification engine, digital access and social inclusion, which also includes hybrid methodologies, scenario engagement manager, which engages employees, investors, community, right? Institutional legitimacy and the value communication manager, so qualitative and quantitative aspect of the scenario to create the trust. Finally, the regulatory and economic policy and risk monitoring, right? So essentially, this framework is diversified and there are different geolocations. So culture differs from one location to another locations. So those paradigms differs as well. And this evolving framework can accommodate those cultural advancements into the equation. Now, as I was mentioning, right, that every geolocation is different, every community is different. And how do we accommodate those into the different scenarios? So we have built the governance framework within the 6 phases, where we synergize the 6 different the components of the framework into the 6 different stages, including the what kind of paradigms we need look at from the Society 5.0 perspective, and define the drivers and goals of the scenario, contextualize it, right? Identify the affinity group for clustering the scenarios and categorizations, the policy behind the specific categorizations, right? The trust-based scenarios, engagement and communications with the customer, and the how do we do dialogues, right? And the different donor specific and their prioritizations. And the last one is the continuous monitoring. And it also we have experienced that it becomes essential as well, because this categorization always evolving, and some categorization fall or can span across the multiple subcategorization. So these are the initial categorizations, but these are not all. So for our case study and the experimentation purposes, we created the 8 categorizations based on the different data sets that we have received from the KAGO and the USC filing, which is culturally sensitivity scenarios, agent-oriented scenarios, digital inclusion scenarios, brand management, regulatory, emotionally resonant scenarios, volatility-driven scenarios, enterprise crowdfunding scenarios, which is the internal employees. Okay. What we have done is that we have created the crowdfunding composite diffusivity. What it means is that every layer that we have defined, we have converted that into a dimension. Okay. And the weighing of those dimensions. So what happens is that weighing differs. And the dimension count would differ as well in terms of the numeric value, how you kind of evaluate those dimensions, right? So the narrative framing, cultural alignment, employee engagement, digital inclusions, legitimacy, and regulatory clarity, all of those are representing the affirmative layers, right? And then we define the weight and then we compute the score. That way we compare the progress of the framework, right? Or effectiveness of the framework. What we have done in our case studies is we took the 629,147 projects all over the globe has accumulated. From there, we identified all the AI initiative and we took the USC filing data, which is 8,492 crowdfunding initiatives. And out of that, um, we have taken the 200 and we have identified the 272 AI specific crowdfunding initiative from 2016 and 2025. So what we have done is we have confirmed the legitimacy and credibility of the crowdfunding initiative within the United States. What the another aspect is that the all of the 272 AI specific crowdfunding, how do we identify it? Is there are 43 different metadata associated with those organizations. From that metadata, what we have done is we have identified where it falls into the specific the category that organization fall into, right? So this weighing, if you look at it, the culture is sensitive. The categorizations is high on the CSR and the cultural perspective, right? But it is lower into the regulatory aspect. Where if you look at the regulatory governed equity, right, you get like a 40% is on the last layer, right? So that's how we have done the weighing, and we have identified how many initiatives from 272 that we have recognized, right? Based on the credibility of the C corporation, we have computed what is the score. So for that particular case study, we have recognized that narrative framing tops it. So we can say that within the United States, we have the AI initiatives for the crowdfunding. I mean the AI specific crowdfunding initiative. The narrative framing is at very highly graded, right? And the people are pursuing those kind of initiatives or those kind of narratives into their initiatives, right? Another aspect that we have is the scenario leaders, right? How many number of the initiatives are in XR? That's what the came out much higher, right? And finally, our finding is that even the small improvement, right, into the narrative framing, for example, it gives a 10% boost in terms of the how do we approach the different scenarios, okay? By means of the diffusivity, composite diffusivity measures. Now the assumptions. Yes, this experimentation comes with the assumptions. We are assuming that the data sets are accurate, right? Because we have taken this data sets. Other assumption is the consistent classification. Because there are the overlapping into the classifications, and the way the different people or the different researchers look at it is different. So that classification changes if somebody else is using a different paradigms or different way of classification. But the framework does not. What we have recognized, the framework structure and the governance does not change, right? Even in the volatility of the classifications or when the new classification or overlapping of the classification changes. Okay. Other assumptions are related to the contextualizations and legitimacy of the risk, because what we have found out that 800 over 8,600, those are the ones they are still exist. More than 990 crowdfunding initiative between 2016 and 2025 in US, they vanished. And that can happen, and that would change our diffusivity model, right? Because that company no longer there, but it's being considered when we were measuring it. So when in a next iterations, we have to be like a iterative to remove those, right? So So those are the certain assumptions and the constraint that we have encountered during our experimentation. Finally, the conclusion, we do believe that this SCRF is an integrative method, and it would consider, as the Society 5.0 paradigms change evolves, this particular framework would provide a structured way to accommodate them. It goes beyond the financial outcomes. It considers CSR, it considers the cultural aspect, regulatory aspect, right, institutional legitimacy aspect. It is measurable. It is we can identify it. This model is kind of baseline right now, right? So when we evolve it, we have now the baseline to compare against, whether we are improving or we are not improving or we are going down, right? Those kind of measure can happen. It's possible with this structure. The It creates the practitioner review, because now you are able to measure it, you are able to baseline it, right? And you know what are the things that we need to improve it, and it gives the adaptive governance as well. Okay, our future work is we have to do did it for the AI, but AI in finance industry differs from AI in healthcare industry. So those kind of diversifications we need to consider it. We need to do the refinement into the diffusibility matrix. Right now it's weighing and the framework dimensions. We want to expand it more, paradigms, deeper assessment of trust, legitimacy, and ethics. And we want to introduce the more policy sensitivity, not just the category. So we have initial categorizations. We want to have the further categorizations into the regulatory and the policy areas. Finally, these are the key references. I want to highlight that we have investigated the crowdfunding for innovations, Society 5.0, synthesis and agendas. We have studied a lot of a regulatory framework, how it would, the US Security and Exchange related new regulatory requirements that they have introduced for the crowdfunding and C forms, right? So we also consider those, we have researched those also, and the official data sets from both KEGO and the US SEC commissions. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vikas, sir. It is good study and really informative. As far as USA government is concerned, I hope maybe you are going to face up a lot of challenges over there. And
yeah, there are challenges, and those challenges we can. The idea is that even for future research should address this as a category, right? That's what we found out. So if those challenges are being addressed into the category, then we can have those into the metadata that we kind of adapted from that. So what we have done is that we took this data and put it on our analytical platform, right? So now we have a new metadata set for our studies, right? So our plan is to have more categories and address those challenges in terms of a metadata and introduce as one of the measure.
Yes, sir. You have mentioned total 272 AI crowdfunding initiatives. So can you please tell me what are the different sectors you have done for the crowdfunding?
What are the different
sectors, or what are the different agencies?
Oh, yeah, no. So, good question. We have considered all the sectors. So, what we have done is that if we found that this is purely a AI specific initiative, and what we found, finance, gaming, healthcare, right, hardware, then we have an enterprise level. Those are the top ones. But there are one offbid for a food as well, food and agriculture. Those are minimum, but top 5 are this one we found it. However, that 272 are holistic, right? We have the data sets, so I can tell that which are the ones, but we didn't go into those detail, and then because it's the next step for us that we look at the different industry. Yeah.
Oh, oh. Good initiative, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. We'll be moving forward to the next presenter, and we have Nooriana Soha with the paper titled The Repercussions of the Chinese Business Culture on the Motivations of Generation Y to Work in Chinese-Owned Garment Companies. You may start with your presentation.
Okay, just let me share the screen. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nurian Toha. Together with my co-author, Steven Wijaya, we would like to present our paper entitled Repercussion of Chinese Business Culture on the Motivation of Generation Y to Work in Chinese-Owned Garment Companies. The background of this research is we know that the garment and textile industry in the world is growing, and Indonesia is one of the top producer of garment and textile in the world. The Indonesian textile market estimated at USD 13.8 billion in 2024 and expected to reach 18 billion by 2029. In 2022, the industry makes up around 6% of Indonesian GDP, and more than 3.7 million people are involved in the textile and garment production industry in Indonesia. 70% of the Indonesian labor market will be occupied by Gen Y from year 2000 to 2030. And some companies, the problem is some companies mistreat Gen Y motivation. Even some companies ignore the importance of motivation of their employees. That's why 60% of Gen Y change their job in the first year to third year. In Indonesia, there are many small and medium enterprises to well-established garment company owned by Chinese individuals. Therefore, the companies are influenced by the unique Chinese business culture, which is called guangxi. One of the main challenges in garment companies is the labor and employment. So it is not easy to attract Gen Y to work in a garment company. Therefore, these are our research questions. What are the motivational factors of Gen Y to work in the Chinese-owned garment companies, and what are the hygiene factors from Hesberg theory of motivation that affect Gen Y to work in Chinese-owned garment companies, and which of those factors is the most important for them to work in Chinese-owned garment companies? And these are the research objectives to answer the research question. And the scope was we did the research in two garment companies, which called PT Busana Maju OBM and Garment Jaya Sejahtera. Both are located in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. These are the operational terms. People of Gen Y are there who are born approximately between year of 1981 to 1996. And then Guangxi is Chinese business environment culture, which encompass the element of trust, relationship, and mutual responsibilities in making interaction throughout the company. While motivational theory, motivation is the force that could influence individual to engage doing a certain behavior. And the theory of motivation use is Herzberg motivational to model motivational theory, which consists of hygiene factor with these factors and also motivators factors. And also we use the theory of Guangxi. Guangxi being translated as connection or relationship in English language. And Chinese business culture and ethic are based on Guangxi. Guangxi basically meaning working while building relationship and maintaining each other good image in the workplace. And this is the research model or the framework of this research. Yeah, so then Guangxi influence the factor of motivational factor, which are recognition and responsibility, while for hygiene factor, influencing quality of relationship and work condition. And all of this will influence the Gen Y motivation to work in Chinese-owned garment companies. This research is qualitative research and the unit of analysis are Genwa, who work in those two companies, and the sampling method was purposive sampling, and the number of samples was 25 people from those two companies. So the data was collected by using in-depth semi-structured interview, and the interview, all of them were recorded, and then we create transcript of the interview, and then the interview was coded by following thematic data analysis. And based on these are the findings of this research. So this is the coding map, the result of the coding of the interview transcript, and these are the findings. Regarding company policy, this result is in line with Herzberg hygiene factor. Most people in work believe that having a good and well-established company policy is already the responsibilities and obligation of every company. So Herzberg suggests that having a broken company policy could bring bad feelings to employee. Meanwhile, for Herzberg hygiene factor and Guangxi regarding quality of relationship, this result is not in line with Herzberg hygiene theory, but it is in line with Guangxi. The participant believe that to have a kinship and warm environmental could make them feel motivated at work. While according to Herzberg, it's not important. In the theory of Guangxi, maintaining non-family member relationship in the workplace is really important and have become the aspect of Chinese business culture itself. Regarding hygiene factor for working condition, the result is aligned with Herzberg hygiene factor because all employees would like to work in a clean and safe condition. So Herzberg believes that a decent and appropriate working condition is necessary to provide just not to avoid pain in the working, but also to satisfy them even further. Regarding hygiene factor on salary, the result is in contrast with Herzberg because according to Herzberg, salary is not motivated the employee, while according to the participant, the results show that salary is one of the most important working motivator because it is an ability indicator, fulfilling their personal need and also fulfilling their family financial needs. Regarding Herzberg hygiene factor personal life, this result showed that the work-life balance is necessary to make employee feel refreshed, and the result is in line with Herzberg hygiene factor because Herzberg believes that providing an adequate amount of time outside the work is necessary to maintain the employee, but it is impossible to raise up employees' motivation by doing so. Regarding Herzberg hygiene factor and Guangxi on status, this result is aligned with Herzberg hygiene theory and not aligned with Guangxi theory, which said the status is important and being prioritized in the workplace. The result shows that according to participants, having a position that they fit could motivate them in work and they're already comfortable to be in the current status and will be somehow enthusiastic if get a position that has subordinate and high responsibility. While Herzberg mentioned that providing a suitable status for everyone in the workplace is really appropriate in order to maintain their existence in the workplace. Regarding Herzberg motivation factor and Guangxi on trust and responsibility, this result align with both theory of Herzberg and Guangxi. It shows that participants feel proud and really honored when being trusted by supervisor. Trust is an important element of Guangxi, which emphasizes the sense of responsibility in each employee nature. Trust and responsibility is the most chosen by the respondent to be their number one most effective factor in motivation. Regarding Herzberg motivator factor and Guangxi on the recognition, this statement aligned with both Herzberg two-factor theory and about the motivator factor and Guangxi. Most participants feel happy while being recognized in the workplace so that they could receive feedback by their recognition of their work. Herzberg stated that in order to motivate employees in the workplace, companies need to enhance their psychological factor, such as giving them recognition of their existence in the workplace. Regarding Herzberg motivator factor work itself, participant statement aligned with Herzberg motivation theory of motivation. According to this statement, providing challenging work could enhance the experience, provide a more enjoyable work, while Herzberg said that In order to make people to be motivated in the workplace, a company should provide a work which could trigger their psychological need, which include feeling of growth. Regarding Hesberg motivation factor on achievement, this statement do not align with Hesberg theory of motivation. It shows that participants are hardly to feel motivated by their sense of achievement in work. According to Hesberg, achievement is being included in the positive psychological factor, which could better motivate people in the workplace. According to the participant statement, sense of achievement only makes the participant to know their purpose of working, realize their goal of working, and to accomplish something better than before. In conclusion, although Hesberg theory of motivation is comprehensive enough, but the results shown that some of the theory does not align with the participant statement. Hesberg nationality of cultural difference with respondent or participant could bring an impact to the inequality between theory and responses. Based on this finding, the most effective motivator factor from Hesberg theory and Guangxi is trust and responsibility. And according to the finding, most part of Guangxi, which are quality of relationship, trust and responsibility and recognition are effectively being the motivator factor of employee. Perhaps Guangxi to be the reason why both companies have survived for more than 10 years. And recommendation based on the finding, we suggest that the company not to strict to the employees to enhance the element of trust and responsibility and implement a family-like work environment to enhance the quality of relationship and not to be too tight in terms of giving incentive to the employees to enhance the element of salary and to make employees to feel more valued and useful in the company to enhance the element of recognition. Managerial implication, the result could be conducted not only for the benefit of those two companies, but to know better about their employee motivation, but also can be applied to other government industry companies or different industries, or Chinese companies, and company could also apply some aspect of Chinese business culture to their company to perform a perfect combination between elements that could motivate employees in the workplace. And recommendation for the future research, it is recommended to conduct the research similar to this case, B2B, for lower level mass production employee to use other theory of motivation, such as Maslow hierarchy of need theory, because it's discovered that the result of interviewing low-level worker is more connected to Maslow hierarchy of need. Future research can be conducted to companies in the form of various cities and employees with more various background and culture to get more various and unique result of the research. So that's all, and thank you for your attention.
So Nuriana ma'am, there are some few questions. In your study, do you feel that there is a need of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then
What was your question? Could you please?
in your research study, do you need the Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Okay. Because I didn't use the Maslow hierarchy of Maslow theory, that's why I didn't explain about it. It is included in the future research because the one that we are using is the Hesberg two-factor theory.
And is there any data set required for the Guangxi?
Is that any data request for what?
Is there any data set is required for Guangxi, which you have explained in your research paper?
Yes, of course. We are asking the question about the Guangxi, and we got the result of it.
And what is the main difference between Guangxi and Hesberg hygiene factor?
The most different thing is like the one that was explained, like some part of the Guangxi, which is important for Guangxi, but not important for the Hesberg, and on the other hand, or the opposite, something like that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Now we'll be moving forward to the next presenter. Now we have Akash Patel with the paper titled Transforming Plant Disease Classification Through AI and Methodological Integration. you may start with your presentation.
Is my screen visible to all?
Yes,
Yes,
it's
yes.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to present the topic of transferring plant disease classification through AI and methodological integrations. In this particular topic, we have done the collaborative research with Hardik sir, Rishi, Prem, along with me. And this whole research and the funding will be done by the Charotar University. So first, agriculture is the backbone in India. So as an example of this research, we have done the research on mango plant. Okay, so basically 20 to 40% of global crops is lost because of annual yield and loss to plant. This is impaired worldwide. Secondly, it will affect the regular farmer who is having a low amount of lands in which they are farming the particular plants. So this can directly affect the economical impact on the farmers. And 800 million people will directly affect in worldwide. Second is uh, in our region, specifically, we can talk about the mango. So mango is a widely cultivated fruit crop, and it is suffers from major diseases like anthracnose, mango malformations. Third one is bacterial canker. So these diseases are devastating in terms of they can ruin the whole fruit plant, and as a result, the particular farmer will not able to get the expected amount of fruit from the given tree. So we have approached total three models. The first one is computer vision plus machine learning techniques. Second one is deep learning, and the third one is spectroscopy. In the first one, with the image acquisitions, we have extracted and followed by the classification algorithm in the computer vision and machine. In the second, we have done the automatic feature extraction using neural networks for the classification. And the last one, we have done the chemical composition analysis using the light and using the light reflection and the transmission. And so these three approach bring us the unique advantages and challenges to the identification of particular plant disease. So first we talk about the first technique, that is computer vision plus machine learning pipeline. So in the first, we have performed the image acquisition part, then after pre-processing, segmentation, feature extraction, and finally the classification. In all, we have used the cameras for phone cameras, and we have captured the image of particular tree. Then after we have pre-processing the particular image based on normalization, resizing of particular image, color transformation, standardization of images. And then after we have done the segmentation based on disease areas using methods like K-means, Sobel edge detection. And we have used the K-means algorithms for the cluster. Second is the feature extraction. In the feature extraction, we have performed the local binary patterns, histogram oriented gradients, scale invariant features transform, etc. And then after at the end, what we have found that limitations. The limitation is for the data set, we need to capture each and every image one by one, and we need to resize. Then after it will create a good experimental uh, uh, experimental thing, but at the end we will not get the exact result as we expect. Why? Because the in early stage we have done the images using phones. Then after we have pre-processing using resizing, coloring. So whatever the disease detection is there, it may affect the whatever the picture we have taken. And second technique we have applied is deep learning evaluations. In the deep learning, we have applied CNN, VGGNet. Then after, in this particular method, we have done the data collection, pre-processing, augmentation, and classification. Using these techniques, we have an advantage that higher accuracy rather than the first model, which is computer vision plus ML. Then after, we can able to generalize the particular complex visual patterns, as each and every tree has a different pattern on leaves, roots, etc. Even in the fruits, there is a different pattern can be identified on each thing. So this method will help us to identify the particular thing. And the last method we have applied is spectroscopy. This method will help us to identify the leaves which don't damage. That means whatever the pattern is there, using this technique, we are able to identify this leaf is not damaged by the particular disease. Then after, as an early detection, even before the visual detection, we can easily identify that this the disease can be done on the particular plant, particular leaves, etc. Then after, for the comparison, in the particular comparisons, the computer vision plus machine learning techniques is simple, effective, but limited for early stage detection. But when it comes to the deep learning, it is very accurate, capable of handling complex, but it requires the big data and computational power. When it comes to the big data, we need to capture each and every. For example, in our region, there is a large amount of mango trees and mango backyard is there. So we need to capture each and every trees, each and every different diseases, photos as well as different trees, leaves capture as well as roots. Then after, in the third method, it is we have found that it is excellent for early detection, but not generalizable across all diseases. So we cannot apply the same method for the all diseases. Then after, in the future directions and the conclusion, we can say we can develop a hybrid model that combines the deep learning automatic feature extraction with spectroscopy for the early detection. So it may have a capacity to reduce the extra times to identify the particular disease and to exactly identify the solution for the particular disease. Then after, the second point is diversify the data. As each and every plant, each and every trees, each and every leaf are showcasing the different patterns. So we may build the comprehensive data set to reduce the biasness of the particular model, which improves the model accuracy across the different environments and the crops. As the environment also affects the trees, leaves, and all the fruits of particular tree, so it may get a different decision based on a time to time checking. And in the farming industry, it may possible that we need to apply different techniques at different timing, as it totally based on the environmental factors. And the last one is we need to focus on deployable solutions, as right now whatever the diseases are there, farmers are going on the field, checking the particular leaves and applying the particular medication for the disease. So we may apply or we may develop the field deployable solution, for example mobile applications, on which a farmer can click a photo and based on the back processing we can apply the particular solution. So these are our future recommendations. And lastly, we want to acknowledge the Charoset University for funding and support this research initiative. Second, our research team and collaborators for the invaluable contribution. And the last one, we want to thank the reviewers and organizers for providing the platform to share our work with the research community. Thank you.
Yeah, Akash. There are few questions related to your
Yes, sir.
plant disease classification.
Yes, sir.
How many authors are there who have contributed this paper?
Total, sir, we have 4 authors. One is me, second is my sir, Hardik sir. Third one is one of the 4 student of me, and the last one is our student's friend, which is in stays in the US.
Okay, so is it your PhD topic or?
No, this is not a PhD topic. This is the
Hmm.
extension topic. which I have carried out in my MTech. So this is the topic.
Okay. So you're pursuing MTech right now?
No, I have pursued the MTech, but this is the extension. I have published one paper earlier. This is the extension.
What are the challenges you faced for the plant disease classification through AI?
There is an as I have said earlier that there is an different patterns we have found on the each and every trees. Second, whenever we apply the classification model, so during the pattern finding, we have identified there is an not exact identifiable pattern is that so using the classification we can classify the particular trees or particular patterns. So for example, if we talk about only the leaves of particular tree, for example, mango. So if we take 10 photos of one tree of tree's leaves, so it may get the 5 to 6 different patterns. So it may contain one or more diseases that affect one leaves, two leaves, or three leaves. So we are not able to exactly identify or classify the particular trees. So we are facing the problem to exactly classify that these are the exact patterns and these are the possible diseases using these patterns.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Moving forward, we now have Sivakami BU with the paper titled Assessing Strategic Alignment for Green Finance Adoption in Manufacturing MSMEs for Green Growth.
Thank you for the introduction. I apologize for missing the time earlier because of the time zone mix-up that I made. And also thank you for accommodating me. I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, you can share your screen now.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty much loading. Before that, I'll just give an introduction. So my research title is on the topic of assessing strategic alignment for green finance adoption in manufacturing MSMEs for green growth. So this research pretty much explores on how manufacturing MSMEs can strategically align towards green finance adoption, not only to overcome their financial barriers, but also to contribute actively to the sustainable development. So can you just confirm if you could see my screen, because I'm just seeing a blank dark screen here.
Yes, the screen is visible.
Oops, okay. Okay. So the agenda for the presentation, I'll be giving the introduction and also setting up the context for today, followed by the research gap and the research objectives, and also how the research methodology that I have chosen would align with the prior to research gap and the objectives, followed by the key findings and also the conclusion and the limitations of the study. So to set the context, in today's constantly changing global landscape, there is an urgent need to pursue sustainable development and also respond to climate change that has become very unavoidable. And also the sustainability is no longer optional, and it's also a driver of growth and competitiveness worldwide. So for MSMEs being micro, small, medium enterprises, sustainability plays a dual role for operational resilience and also helps in gaining access to emerging markets, because that's considered one of the competitive advantage over other companies worldwide. And however, there are persistent challenges that these enterprises are facing, namely in terms of high resource usage, energy inefficiency, and limited adoption of sustainable practices, which act as a barrier to progress. And to support these laid back enterprises, there are institutional support in terms of SIDBI, Niti Aayog, and World Bank worldwide, which has launched several initiatives to encourage sustainable finance to help the enterprises grow in more responsible way. So one question that popped in my mind was how prepared are MSMEs to achieve strategic alignment with green finance, to align with the basic business strategy, structure, and technology today. And also, given that finance is one of the biggest hurdle that these MSMEs are facing, many enterprises neglect sustainable projects due to the risk of economic gains that they have. So, but if green finance is in place, or if it is accessible, would the business MSMEs would strategize their in alignment to the sustainability goals, is what my question was. So based on that, I have taken forward the research. So from the secondary research, green finance itself is a core part of strategic approach, and it encourages financial sector in moving towards low carbon and resource efficient projects. And it also links the capital flows to climate goals and also environmentally responsible projects. So which is in comparison to the classical economics, or the classical finance or traditional finance, which emphasizes on the economic gains and the profits. This emphasizes on the environmental benefits for the society, while also striving towards the economic growth and ecological conservations. So the tie here is that where are the constraints lies in. So one such was found in limited collateral and difficult lending conditions that were found to be from the secondary literature review. So moving forward, where does the gap lie in terms of literature was found. So in that context, in literature, existing studies on green finance have mainly focused on the instruments, namely green bonds, green funds, and other green instruments for the green projects. Whereas there are also other strategies and the key actors that the the literature has focused on. But the gap lies in they haven't focused much on the micro perspective of the green finance, where majorly it covered the macroeconomic or the institutional perspective rather than the micro level perspective from the and especially with respect to MSMEs, there were no research found, or it is in still in scars. And only a few studies have applied methods like MCDM techniques, which is fuzzy demattel or AHP or fuzzy logic approach to green finance. So and also there is a very significant prominence of studying about this topic, because strategic alignment is very important, because a conflictual co-alignment patterns would create inefficiencies or misfit or misalignment in terms of business strategy, business structure, IT strategy, IT structure, and leading to a lower performance, even in case of green finance in place. So this study would examine how far the MSMEs are aligned towards the green finance adoption. So based on that, the three objectives for the study are to examine the criteria and to identify and examine the criteria and attributes that facilitate the strategic alignment of MSMEs in adopting green finance. Secondly, it is to develop a structured framework for assessing the strategic alignment for green finance adoption using fuzzy logic methodology. And thirdly, it is to identify the weaker and address those weaker attributes to enhance their alignment for adopting green finance to promote green growth. So for the research perspective, only the continuous improvement process perspective was not implied here. Only one-time effort of how far we could take this forward is only captured here. But in terms of future research, we could also take that. So we have adopted fuzzy logic approach. Especially because unlike the traditional empirical studies, this would capture the gray areas or the areas which cannot be quantified. So all of those gray scales and the boundaries, unclear boundaries, can be identified using fuzzy logic approach. And this will also enable the quantitative evaluation, wherein we get the gray scales and we convert those gray scales into quantitative numbers, which is then converted back to the alignment scales based on the fuzzy logic methodology. So that was a summary about this methodology. So the methodology has three phases. So one is to identify and classify the criteria and the attributes for the strategic alignment of green finance and manufacturing MSMEs. Secondly, that we have chosen 19 attributes and 5 criteria. So these are the 5 criteria that we have identified from the literature review and expert opinion. So to name a few, strategic vision and mission alignment, awareness of green finance instruments among the MSME entrepreneurs, and strategic financial readiness and positioning, and performance alignments and metrics were also part of this, and which covers the KPIs, and business model and innovation alignment is also part of the criteria. And for each of these criteria, we have found certain attributes which pertains to those criteria. So the second phase is to identify the case organization. In this case, we have found a case organization in manufacturing MSME. So basically, it is based in Coimbatore, India. The company manufactures automobile parts and supplies to various OEMs. So it also undertakes other assembling, welding, molding operations. The company was chosen because they were tied up with TIC. So that was the reason we have chosen that organization. And the phase 3 is the continuous assessment of strategic alignment and making the MSMEs to extremely aligned state for the adoption. So only the first 2 phases were were employed in this. And so after we develop the conceptual framework, as we could see here, we take the suitable MSME, and further we do a assessment for strategic alignment of MSMEs in green finance adoption. And followed by that, once we get the index for the alignment, we turn back those index into a alignment level in terms of a natural linguistic term. And based on that, we identify the weaker attributes that require targeted intervention. So that is based on another methodology, which is FPII and ranking score. And using the Pareto principle, we have found the weaker attributes and followed by the improvement strategies that the organization could follow. So yeah, as we said before,
this is a gentle reminder for the 10-minute time limit.
yeah, sure. So, so from this, we were able to find that the organization is moderately aligned, and also the FPI and the ranking scores were also identified. And this is the weaker attributes: access to internal and external green finance sources, leadership commitment and accountability, integration of green finance into mission vision, embedding green finance into existing and new business models. And the KPIs were found to be on the weaker aspect of the study. And one interesting fact is that they were highly motivated to adopt green finance responsibly and effectively. So that was one greater good we could see here, and also a larger part of improvement to be made in terms of finance and in terms of performance indicators. So these are the insights from this study. And as a part of this improvement strategy, we suggest that practical improvements in process and products, including sustainable solutions like energy efficient technologies and renewable energy sources, can make a very significant difference. And also, one limitations of the study is that we have used only one case study as an aspect of for this research, which can be extensively researched by incorporating other organization, and also a longitudinal study can be further made for enhancing the study. So by also focusing on the weaker attributes, the organization or the case organization could transition from moderately aligned to very highly aligned, and helps in smoother adoption of green finance when the green finance has been in place. With that, I conclude, and these are the key references. And thank you for your attention. And
Yeah, thank you, Minakashi. Shivakami. One question is from my side: what are the challenges you face for the green finance adoption?
So With adoption, this is a readiness scale, sir. So we have just found the how far the entrepreneurs are aligning will be ready to align their business towards green finance. So with that, the one challenge that I thought I would face is that most of the entrepreneurs in MSMEs wouldn't be aware of green finance, but that's why we have chosen an organization which is already tied up with TIC and other government sources. So, and they were aware of green finance, and when it comes in place, and they really wanted to take up green finance funds with that, because they also have a sister consultant with the textile industry, wherein they recycle products and make other greater good of those recycled waste products.
Okay, so your study is conceptual based or you have implemented something through your project?
I haven't implemented, sir. It's a conceptual.
It's a totally
It's in a
conceptual.
very it's in a very preliminary stage, and that's why I started with the readiness index here. So if once we get a scope from this, we thought of extending the study in implementation, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Now, I'll just like to call out the one presenter that was previously absent. If he or any of the co-authors are present in the session, you may kindly begin. I guess we don't have them in the session. So that brings us to the closing of the session. I sincerely thank all our authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough for you all. We, on behalf of the whole team, we thank you for your support during this 4th version and all the previous 3 versions of the conference. We'll be happy to have you in the 5th version in 2026. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. The publication will be live within 7 to 8 months. So kindly cooperate with the team of ISBM 2025. I'd also like to thank our session chair for chairing this session. And here is a small token of appreciation on behalf of the team of ISBM and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you so much for your valuable presentation.
Thank you so much.
Now I'll just request you all to please switch on your cameras for a quick snapshot of this virtual conference. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all again with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All papers are great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.